I hit max level in Brew Protocol after 45 hours of gameplay to finally answer this question everybody has been dying to ask for, especially when I'm live streaming on my Twitch. Is this game good? Hey, I'm live streamer Tenten, and this is my complete review of the Brew Protocol JP server after I hit max level. And as always, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Let's get started. Brew Protocol is a new anime MMORPG with really good anime graphics that you can just kind of see for yourself on the screen right now. But it does have some performance issues, especially in Dungeon Run where you are facing with a swamp of enemy. In that case, your FPS can easily drop to 0. Stunning anime graphic is definitely the biggest selling point of the entire game, especially compared to many other MMO that are lesser up to date, like either Final Fantasy XIV Online or Terra, which unfortunately has been shut down. This part will matter a lot near the end of the video, so just remember. It took me 45 hours of gameplay getting to endgame of Brew Protocol, with a lot of hurdle in between. And honestly, I'll tell you right now, Brew Protocol is a game much more about the journey getting to endgame rather than the actual endgame itself, because well, there's no endgame. Brew Protocol has really decent story, but what really impressed me is the animation quality, especially when they include your customized character in the cutscenes. It's my naked ass character versus the final boss of Brew Protocol. The Brew Protocol combat is honestly relatively relaxing and chill, but yet it still delivers that really high engagement combat, especially at higher level where the enemy get tougher and tougher. Honestly, Brew Protocol combat is extremely relaxing and chill. It only has 4 buttons, but it really gets the job done. Most importantly, that means that this game plays extremely well on controller, as you don't have to worry about button mapping, and I know a lot of players actually prefer to play on controller for that relaxing afternoon gameplay. Brew Protocol combat system is extremely relaxing and chill, as it's only acquire 4 ability. It's more just about casting the ability and what the ability itself does, rather than trying to create some kind of complex combo and trying to memorize some kind of complex rotation. Every single skill have 2 choices when you go up to level 50, your alpha tree and your beta tree, so there's some kind of skill customization that way. If you're coming from a game like Lost Ark, then these are basically the equivalent of tripod where there are skill modifier. For example, this ability allows me to decrease the defense of any enemy hit by this ability. The alpha version of these skills allow me to increase the radius of the skill to significantly bigger, while the beta of the skills allowing to be fired as a piercing arrow instead. And you have to unlock these in-game after you're level 50. There are a total of 5 classes in Brew Protocol, and you can change them at any time simply by equipping the corresponding weapon. Right here, if I select a Aegis fighter weapon, the sword and the shield, I'll instantly class change to become a Aegis fighter. However, do know that each class have their own separate level, so here my Aegis fighter is back at level 1, and the level sync system in the game will tune all your equipment back to level 1 until you eventually hit the corresponding level again. You're actually incentivized to level up other classes in Brew Protocol because of what's known as a share passive. Right here at the bottom 2 slot, you can see 2 open slots for passive here. These are passives from other class and they're shared because I have those other class level. For example, this passive right here allow me to do more damage when my HP is bigger than a certain amount, and this is a share passive from the Twin Axe Striker class. Because I have my Twin Axe Striker level up to level 11, I was able to acquire a G1 passive of this skills. I'm able to use this share passive on my level 50 Blast Archer. The number one question people like to ask is that does this game have a Holy Trinity system with tank, healer, and DPS? And the answer is it kinda does. Tank or healer are not mandatory to do dungeon, but it will make things significantly easier if you have the right proper team comp. Aegis Fighter, which is the tank in this class, can taunt away all the enemy and group them all into the same spot, while a Blast Archer, which is the healer, can provide a team with support like healing or buffing. The highest level dungeon in this game is extremely restrictive, with very little amount of time given, as well as only 2 potions allowed. Having a proper team composition is gonna be your key to success or failure. And I know this because we wiped it on this dungeon a lot. That was so close. With that being said though, Endgame Dungeon at the current moment honestly is just like a mobbing simulator. The only point of it is just to spam AoE until everything die, and it's especially important because again the time you allocate it is so slow. The general strategy when it comes down to doing a dungeon is simply run past everything, group everything up, and spam your AoE on top of them, and then repeat until the entire dungeon is clear. There isn't some kind of difficult mechanics puzzle to solve, at least at the current moment. In general, you're looking to grind dungeon or do anything in the game to obtain rare material, which will assist you in crafting better item or just crafting better gear. The main core gameplay loop of Brew Protocol is going to be something like gathering a bunch of rare material either through harvesting or monster hunting, and then once you have collected all the corresponding rare material, you can go ahead and craft your next level of gear. Or just craft the same one over and over because the bonus effect on most of these items are completely random. Each of these enhanced Imaji, which I like to call insignia, have a random bonus effect where you have a 33% chance to get 1 out of 3 of any effect. So your gameplay loop is just going to be gather all of these material again and again to craft until you get the right stats. Crafting a level 50 weapon will require you to get 16 of the dungeon material. As each dungeon drop 1, you're gonna need 16 dungeon run to craft 1 single level 50 weapon. That's not including the 15 rare mod drop that you also have to farm as well. And then you have a 25% chance of getting a great success on the weapon with a random bonus effect and a random amount of socket. Brew Protocol honestly has an extreme amount of grind. You're often gonna find yourself harvesting a bunch of material over and over until you get the rare material drop, or you're gonna find yourself hunting monster over and over again until you find the rare material drop. Overall gameplay of Brew Protocol honestly remind me of Maple Story a lot, where you're just kind of hunting monsters all day, and while it is not the most engaging gameplay there is, it could be quite relaxing, especially if you're sharing this experience with your friends. I'm currently at 4,450 battle score on Brew Protocol, and this will unlock all the content available in the game and is considered to be the soft cap of Brew Protocol launch, which is pretty much everything maxed out. The only way to acquire higher gear score is either to swipe for level 50 summons, or you can grind for level 45 intense Imaji, which come at an extremely low drop rate while you're hunting for monsters, which is basically improbable unless you get extremely lucky. We can talk about the grind in a completely separate video, but in this video I want to focus on answering the question on what is the grind for, and the answer is not really a lot. The hardest dungeon available in the game is honestly not really that hard as long as you get a proper team composition in. It isn't like raiding in Final Fantasy XIV or Lost Ark. It is just a normal dungeon where you just kill the mob and kill the boss and call it a day. And again, it unlocks the material for you to craft the highest level weapon, which I already have, unless I want to make it again for the RNG. But there just isn't a whole other lot. Other than the upper level dungeon, you have the time attack challenge, which is a solo challenge to see how fast you can complete the dungeon, and this comes with a leaderboard, with currently the fastest record being on 1 minute 27 seconds. Or you got the tower. The tower is a 30 floor challenge where each floor requires you to complete a different competing condition, and once you have cleared it, you can move on to the next floor. This is a 6 party member dungeon, and you really only clear it once for the achievement, and that's really it. The very honest short answer right now with Brew Protocol Endgame is that honestly, other than even more grind to perfect your character if you want to grind for those RNG to unlock each of your alpha skill or beta skills, there isn't any other things to do. However, despite all of these, I actually don't think not having an endgame is a problem, at least for now. As long as they're willing to add difficult bosses or even more endgame, more difficult dungeon in the future, which I'm sure they will, then I actually think it's fine at the current moment to not have an endgame. As I mentioned again in this video, right now the current state of Brew Protocol is much more about the journey from 1 to 50 rather than what's after level 50, as there isn't a lot. I think this approach is completely fine as the game just launched and it takes a massive amount of time or effort to get to level 50. I think it's completely fine to not really have a difficult mission right now at the current moment, and wait for many players to slowly catch up. Again, because the game is mostly about chill and a relaxing environment, not to rush to level 50. And again, it is for that exact reason why I suggest everybody to take their time, enjoy the game, enjoy the cutscene, enjoy the world when the game eventually launches in global. Don't rush to endgame, because the game itself right now isn't about that. It's about the journey from 1 to 50. To my next point, the biggest point of all of them, Blue Protocol is an excellent anime MMORPG for the purpose of just chilling and relaxing. As I wind down from my 45 hours of journey in Blue Protocol to get the max level, I went to my bed and set up my brand new PS5 that I bought for Final Fantasy 16, which by the way, I'll be live streaming that game on Twitch as well. So again, if you're not following the Twitch, don't forget to follow. But my point here is that as I was laying down on my bed, I realized this would be the perfect moment to play some Blue Protocol. Blue Protocol honestly was probably a game designed for console first and then ported over to PC. One of the biggest tell is that there's no cursor function in this game. In order for me to add someone to my party, you can't just bring up a cursor and then click on them. You have to physically walk up to them, and then you have to highlight them and then click invite them to party, which is, to be honest, kind of tedious. But again, this game has extremely friendly controller support. It plays almost like Monster Hunter. In fact, I'm actually using a controller right now. And combat on a controller is extremely straightforward. You have your 4 skills, again, each corresponding to one of the buttons on your controller. As far as I know, Blue Protocol not only have cross-play, but it also have cross-save. That means all your progress on the PC can be carried over to the PS5 or your Xbox. So after a long day of doing dungeon on your computer, you could just go to your couch and wind down with some big screen Blue Protocol. And this is the reason why at the very beginning of the video, I said graphic matter especially, because the cool anime graphic can be displayed on your 50-inch TV. Again, perfect for some late night relaxing grinding with your friends. And that's what I truly think the real Blue Protocol experience is. Blue Protocol isn't the kind of MMORPG that you kind of play if you're looking for some kind of hardcore rating like in Final Fantasy 14 Online or Lost Ark. Again, it is just a chill, relaxing anime MMORPG for you to immerse yourself into. And I think that's completely fine, and I absolutely enjoyed my journey so far on Blue Protocol JP server. Now, in my really honest opinion, I think this game is overhyped. Now, I don't mean this game is bad in any way, but I just don't think it is the perfect, the savior of anime MMO that people are expecting. It is a good game, it is a chill, relaxing game, but it is far from perfect. I think this game can use a lot of quality of life update, like being able to bring your cursor up to select other player so you can party them, instead of me having to walk up to them and then click on them, because that is absolutely really difficult to do while hunting. And other quality of life update would be greatly appreciated. They did introduce a lot of these since the network test that I have noticed, like much higher drop rate compared to the network test, which was my #1 biggest complaint since the network test. However, I think they could use some additional work such as introducing better mob density. Right now, sometimes enemy are really scatters. Better respawn rate on the harvesting node, because after you have exhausted the entire map, it does take a long time for it to respawn. But honestly, overall, I think I had a really great time on Blue Protocol, and I can't wait for future content update or being able to share experience with the rest of you or with my close friend when the global release eventually drops. I do plan on covering this game more on the JP server, including other aspects about the game, including a deeper dive into what Endgame really looked like, what does the grind that I was talking about really look like, or is the game pay to win, which I actually already have a video about in case you need to check that out. But with that being said, that is my completely honest Blue Protocol review. I honestly really enjoyed my journey to level 50. It was really fun, and hopefully you have fun as well. With that being said, thank you for watching. My name is Tenten. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all next time.